beautiful honeys. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Anastasia. I'm a Toronto-based actor, YouTuber, social media manager. I am heavily involved in this industry. And if you are returning, well then welcome. I'm always happy to have you here. I want to share a personal story today about something, how I got fired from my first agency. I'm not trying to share this to like name rep anybody or give a bad name out there or anything like that. This is merely from a place of, I want to share my personal journey as I do on my YouTube of red flags that I should have noticed, of mistakes that I felt like was happening, of things that I clearly was ignoring. I just want you to know that if that happens to you, that you are let go by an agent or agency, it is not the end of the world. This will happen to anyone all the time. And I do believe that in this industry, we have this stigma that if you are dropped by your agency, it's like, oh my God, this is a really bad actor. We want nothing to do with them, which is so wrong. A lot of the times you're dropped by the agency because the agency was in the wrong. Anyways, let's grab a coffee, tea, whatever you got, and let's get into some tea. So, long story short, I graduated from Ryerson University. Now it's known Toronto Metropolitan University, but at the time it was called Ryerson, and it was their 4-year acting conservatory program. It was called like School of Performance Ryerson Acting or something like that. I don't remember. They changed the name so many times that I'm like, I don't even know what it says on my diploma at this point. It was 2018, and I did at Alumni Theater, they hold this festival called Fireworks Festival or something like that. And I auditioned for a show. I got in, I played one of the leads, and I wanted to invite a bunch of agents to come and see me in the show so then I can get repped. I kid you not, I think I emailed like 60 to 70. Also, I wrote really bad emails and my cover letter was shit and my resume was non-existent and my headshots make me look like I was 35 years old and I was like 19. So I'm not surprised that a bunch of agents did not email me back. I got probably like 2 responses. One of them being this agent, and they said that they were gonna come. And so I left them 2 tickets at the box office under their name. And then I realized at the end of the night that they never came because I thought that I would see them outside, like in like the venue auditorium area to say hello. They were never there. I emailed them, I didn't hear back, and I thought, okay, well, I guess they changed their mind and it is what it is. It sucks, but you know, whatever. Then later on, I think it was 2 weeks later, they emailed me and they said, hey, sorry, forgot to email you. Do you still want to meet about possible representation? And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. This is where like the red flag starting to pop through, and I should have been a little bit like, The first thing was the fact that they didn't show up to the show, they didn't email, and when I emailed them asking like, oh, like, hey, like, so sorry you couldn't make it to the show, like, do you still want to meet? I didn't hear from them, and then I didn't hear from them almost 2 weeks after. And so the lack of communication that it takes so long, I understand that I'm not a client yet and I'm not rep, but then this to me as a pre-client shows to me that you don't answer your emails fast enough, and I'm not saying that agents should answer me within an hour or something like that. But if you expect me to answer within 24 hours, I would expect the agent to also answer me within 24 to 48 hours. That's just where I come from. Like I want it to be a little bit like a mutual respect back and forth. I understand that agents have very busy schedules and lots of stuff going on, but I also have a very big schedule and lots of stuff going on. And I prioritize communication with all my professional networking of people. So then when we meet, I come to the coffee shop and I sit and I realize that this agent is actually having another meeting as we speak. So the agent, I guess, scheduled a bunch of meetings. It was just to me so awkward because I'm sitting in this coffee shop. They're clearly meeting with someone else. And I just thought like, if I was meeting a bunch of social media clients, like to manage their accounts, I would never schedule them so close in one day that it's almost like a cattle call where like the next social media client comes in and like sits at a table like 3 tables away from you and like waits for you. Like it just seems really odd. Not only that, our scheduled meeting I remember was for 2 o'clock and I had to actually work my serving job at 5 p.m. And I didn't think it would be an issue because I was like, well, if I meet for 2, our meeting is not going to go over an hour and a half, so I'm going to be fine. The meeting that they were having with the other actor that was there went over 45 minutes. I just feel really uncomfortable. I feel like I shouldn't even be sitting in the coffee shop right now. I feel like I'm eavesdropping. I feel like I'm in the office. I understand that I was like young and new, but I think this is where a lot of agents unfortunately take advantage of that. They kind of like make you feel like they are superior because you're green and new. And yes, there is a sense that because you're new, they're gonna guide you. They're gonna kind of take your hand and be like, listen, I think you should do A, B, and C and not what you wanna do because I see this picture. In a healthy way, that's fine. But I don't think it should feel like they're bigger than you and like that you literally don't know anything and that you're an idiot and they know best. finally my meeting happened. I will never forget this meeting. I could barely get a word in with this agent. This agent just kept interrupting, kept feeling very no, you don't understand, but this is how it's done in this industry. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then when I asked, how many people do you have on your roster? They're like, oh, well, I don't know, a couple, it's not really relevant. And I was just like, it is important for me to know how many people you have, because if you rep 200 people and it's just you, that's a lot of people to be repping. I'm gonna get lost in your roster. The whole meeting was just so wishy-washy and just sloppy. And I was just I was so eager to get signed because I couldn't get an agent. I applied to so many agencies and I wasn't hearing back, and this was the only one. So I was I guess I gotta go with it. We left the meeting. They're like, we wanna rep you. And I said, okay, great. I said, I do have another meeting with another agent. So I said, I'd love to take that meeting and then I will get back to you. I did not have another meeting with another agent, but theater school taught us to say, never say yes on the spot. Always say that you're in demand and you have another agency that wants you. And I was like, yeah, you're right. For 4 years, I was brainwashed. And so I said that. To me, just look, if you want an agent, that's the only meeting you got and that's the one you want, why would you tell them and be like, I have another meeting, so I'll let you know. No, I don't want to do that. So that was my fault. But the agent was like, oh, so who else are you meeting with? And I was like, oh shit. Okay, well, it's ABC or I don't even know. I don't even know if I told them the agent. I don't even remember if I actually made up a name or whatever. They're like, okay, great. We'll keep in touch. We'll love to hear from you. And I didn't hear from them. I kid you not, for 2 weeks. I did not hear from them for 2 weeks. I was I guess I lost my chance. And I thought, oh no, I said something at the meeting. I did something wrong. I started blaming myself. I was like, you're an idiot. Why would you tell them you have another meeting with another agent? You clearly don't. They probably knew it was a lie. My brain was just my mental health back then was so bad. I was just blaming myself for all of it. Long and behold, they ended up emailing me a few days after my second follow-up email. And they said, yep, great. We want to rep you. This is awesome. Get yourself set up on all the websites like Casting Workbook, Breakdown Express, Casting Network, whatever, and just add us as your agency. I was like, okay, great. Never got sent a contract. And I was young and dumb that I didn't realize, you never got sent a contract. It wasn't until about a month in, I had everything set up and I got everything revamped for them or whatever. My sister was like, hey, did you ever sign a contract? I was like, you're right. No. So I emailed them. I said, hey, I realized I never had a contract with you, and didn't hear back again for another 2 to 3 weeks. And then I heard back from them and they told me that they don't do contracts, that their agency doesn't believe in contracts, and that they believe as an agency as a whole in a trust basis with their clients. Now, each to their own. You do whatever works for your agency. That is a huge, in my personal opinion, that's risky. That's not just for me, but that's also risky for the agency and the agent that is a part of it, because anything can happen. You both can get sued for anything. There's no legal agreement. There is nothing. People can do and please as they go from their end and from my end. To me, I'm there's no legal signed agreement of the day that we started working together, all the terms and conditions, what I can and cannot do, what they can and cannot do, nothing. I should have honestly, now realizing this 7 years later, 7, 8 years later, should have been no, thank you. I'm not gonna work with someone who does not believe in a contract and does not want to do a contract, because that's huge liability on me. But I was so desperate, so desperate to have an agent that I said, okay, sure. Then for months on end, I don't even know, 6, 7 months, I heard, when I mean nothing, I mean literally zilch. Nothing from them. I didn't get one audition for about 6 to 8 months. I would email them. I wouldn't hear any responses back. I would ask how are things doing in the industry? Hear no responses back. I would be like, hey, I saw this non-union commercial. Can I get put up for it? No responses. This is really frustrating. And I actually at that point felt I don't think I'm rep by this agent. It's been 6 to 8 months. I haven't heard anything and I don't have a contract signed with them. So I guess I'm not rep by them. Well, it is what it is. Then long and behold, all of a sudden in the summer, I get a McDonald's commercial. And I was like, hello, where have you been for the last 8 months when I've been messaging you asking anything? I go and I do the McDonald's commercial. It was the stupidest commercial I've ever done. It was a literal cattle call. It was one of those you want a model? Come to this office and you'll be the next top model. That's literally what it was. Exactly 3 days later, I got another commercial audition. And I was like, what is happening right now? I'm now I'm here? What? So I went to another same type of casting call, very cattle call vibe. vibe. I think it was for Coca-Cola. Yeah, first one was McDonald's, then the second one was Coca-Cola. And then after I come home and I was really frustrated because I was like, well, I literally felt like you were not even my agent for the last few months because there's been no communication, no nothing. I didn't even know if you existed anymore. Now all of a sudden I'm being sent out on these 2 commercials. And so I basically was like, I need to honestly stand up and be like, hey, we need to have a call. We need to have a talk. Like, where have you been? Like, what's going on? Like, and we finally get on this call and I just felt so intimidated. Like, I just felt so intimidated. It was all about like, well, your headshots are not good. Like, that's why like you had no auditions. I'm like, okay, but you've had me for 8 months. You tell me this now in August that my headshots were not good. I'm like, I've reached out to you. Like, I didn't hear. And they were just like, yeah, we've been really busy. Like things been really crazy at the agency. And I just like, I didn't know how to answer these things because I was so afraid to say the wrong thing and to be fired and dropped that I just kept being like, oh, okay, no worries. I totally understand you were busy. Yeah, oh my God. So then I went and got new headshots. And then when I was getting the new headshots done, I kept asking them again, like, hey, what is it that you want me to do with my headshots? Like, what do you think I need to do? Like, what do you want me to change about my look? Like, they couldn't give me anything. Like, there was nothing. They just said, we trust you. We think that you know what to do. You know what to do, what is best. And this is where like another red flag for me is that if your agent cares about you and cares about your work, your agent is working with you. They're not your boss. They're not their employer. Like, you're not employed by them. They only make money if you make money. If you don't book anything for them, they're not getting their rent check. If your agent wants nothing to do with you and your headshots and does not want to help you build your package and make you a better actor, then I'm like, that agent does not care about you. They literally, like, I'm sorry to say this, but that's just what the reality is. So I ended up just taking this into my own hands and I went and got my headshots done. And the headshots were beautiful, but they were just all the same. It was literally the same, essentially, shirt that was like 4 different colors, the same hair and makeup for each one. Like, I looked identical. Like, I didn't look anything different. I looked like the same character. I put the headshots in and then again, didn't hear from them for another 6 months. I then remember I had an incident with them where I was asked by someone to do a table read for potentially to be a part in this play. And I was like, do I do it? Do I not do it? Do I tell them? And my friends were like, do it. You don't have a contract signed. You can do whatever you want. As I said yes to this table read, I get a commercial. And I was like, oh my God. Of course this has to happen. So then I emailed the agent and I said, hey, so sorry, I have to regret this audition. Also, this is my 3rd audition in a whole year and this is the only one I'm regretting. And I said, I have to regret this audition because I have a prior commitment. I said yes to a table read. And this agent blew up, like literally blew up, was so upset with me over email that I'm saying no to an audition and was like, how dare you say no? Your auditions with us comes first. And I truly at that point was starting to feel very like angry. And I think my confidence was slowly starting to come in where I was like, you know what? I'm like, I have found more student films and more work on my own in this whole year than you have ever even helped me with. So I'm like, yes, if someone's asking me to do a table read for a potential character that I could be a part in, I will say yes to that because I'm like, you're not on my side. You're not helping me. And in the new year of 2019, I got auditioned for like a docu-series and I got the part when I was like super excited about it. And they were really excited because LOL, I've been with them for like 2 years at this point, and this was my 4th audition in my 2 years that I've been with them, and I booked it. Funny enough, on set, this was the day that everything was shutting down because of COVID-19. So the whole entire crew was like, everybody hurry, 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 get your stuff going, get the scene going, like finish it up. We finished up and then we shut down and then we were shut down. So nobody heard anything from anyone. And then I heard an email from them in June being like, hello, hope you're all doing well. We're updating everything on our page because it's a great time for us to get to know our clients. And when they said that, I was like, get to know your clients? I'm like, how do you not know me? How do you not know your clients? Like, some of your clients we probably had for years. So then the agent started being like, so can you sing? Can you dance? Like, what are your skills? I'm like, they're on my resume and they're updated on casting workbook. I'm like, what? I'm like, how do you not know this? And they were like, what else can you do? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I was starting to like, oh my God, this is not working. I'm like, this is really not working. Like, you don't even know who I am. I'm someone way in the back that you don't even remember. Like, we got to move on. So then I was like, I'm going to start looking for a new agent. Following the summer went through, and this is still like hardcore in the pandemic. In September, I went for Artist to Artist Showcase. It's a showcase that's all across Canada. They were doing one where the casting director in Toronto was going to be like the end result that they could see your tape if you get into the top 10. Now, if you get into the top 20, when you're submitting your application, you're allowed to click on, if you get into the top 20, do you want us to show yourself to all the agents in the city for possible representation? I clicked yes. And this was my fault. People people have a different opinion. I've heard people be like, no, if you're looking for a new agent, you don't have to tell your agent, because they're like, if you were at a full-time job, you're not going to go to your full-time job and say, hey, I'm looking to leave. I'm going to go find a new job. You go and look for the job. And then when you find it, you come to your employer and say, hey, I found a new job. Like, thank you for the time. Here's my 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month, whatever it is. And then you leave and do your thing and move on to the next thing. But with agents, if an agent wants to drop you, there is no conversation of, hey, I'm thinking of letting you go. I don't know if this is working out. Like, let's test out the next few months. If things still don't work out, then we'll leave. Like, nobody does that. They just call you out of nowhere and say, we're dropping you. And then you don't even have a moment to explain yourself, because they've already made that decision and it's done. But when it comes to as an actor, as a client, God forbid if you go and look for another agency representation and not tell them, it just looks really bad on you. So there's a lot of like hypocrisy in my opinion with this. Like, I'm like, I don't think it's fair. I got into the top 20 with this self-tape that I did, and it was submitted to all the agents in the city, including this agency. And this agent, that was my agent, opened it up and saw my face on there and was very upset. They emailed me immediately. Literally, the email was like, congrats, but what is this? Can we talk? And I was like, oh my God. This is funny because after this, it proceeded to be the biggest back and forth. I kid you not, like a full out brawl between me and the agent, where they were like, how dare you? We did not know that you'd want to leave. We did not know that this is how you've been feeling. And then my sister just sat there and she's like, no, this is like enough. Like, you got to be honest about it. You got to say what you got to say. And like, let's put it out there. So I said, I was like, look, we've had no communication. I literally went 8 months without even hearing from you when I was trying to reach you. I've had 4 auditions in 1 year. You berailed me when I said no to 1 audition because I had a prior commitment. This is not clearly working. And if you think this is working, then I don't know what to tell you, but I don't think this is working. And I apologized. I was like, look, I apologize. I didn't have a conversation with you. This is just how I felt. And I'm not trying to have issues. I really wish you the best. And then they're like, well, you're fired. We're letting you go. You are no longer part of this agency, effective immediately. And I was like, funny enough, I'm like, you don't even have a contract. So I'm like, really, like, what? I'm like, you can't even go by rules. You have no contract. I never signed a contract. So whatever. So this agent then proceeded to email me that they have emailed Artist Showcase and told Artist Showcase about me and about how unprofessional I was and what I did. Yeah, and then I cried for a whole 6 months, and then I felt so bad because I was like, oh, I did it all wrong. It was me. And then on top of it, I was like, oh my God, now this casting director knows about me. They think I'm probably so unprofessional. I'm so bad. I'm so this. And it just really screwed with my mental health. I just felt like literal crap. I remember crying so hard at my parents' house because everything that I've always was taught, like, if you get dropped by an agent, you're shit. Like, you're nothing. You don't even exist. Like, you're not even an actor if you get dropped by an agency. And that's exactly how I felt. And quite frankly, the agent firing me is actually what prompted me to go in background acting and what prompted me to start my YouTube channel. I just want you to know that if you feel like your agent is not in your corner and your agent is not here to help you, and you've tried numerous of times to have meetings, emails, phone calls, conversations, some sort of line of communication, and it is not working, honeys, I am telling you, you are better off with not having that agent. You are better off with finding your own work and doing your own thing. If you feel that your agent's trying to intimidate you and is trying to make you feel small and like you don't know anything and they're the only biggest thing in the world, that's not okay. That's not normal. So overlook your relationship. Take a look. See how you're feeling. Maybe there got to be some sort of change, whether you leave or you have a communication. You got to figure these things out. So 8 years later, new agent, YouTube channel, couple of things booked, couple of things not booked, and thriving, living, happy, and love you. Happy Friday. And I gotta go to my serving job, and I'm gonna see you all next Friday. Bye, honey.